I'm Janice McLean DeLoatch, and we are here today with the Leadership for Success Journey presented by PathFinders for Autism. Today you'll hear some speakers talk about their own personal stories and why they are inspired to help find a cure for autism and also make the path to autism a little better for those that have to walk it. Stay tuned and we'll be back with more from our special segment on autism, and we are at the PathFinders for Autism event. We'll be back. Hi, we are here with the Pathfinders for Autism with Duncan Niederauer, and he is our first guest, and so I want to say hello and thank you for joining us today.
It was my pleasure to come down here and be a part of today's event.
Okay, now if you would just give people a little background about why it was important for you to become involved with autism, and I know you say you share some things in common.
Yes, ma'am. So we have a son named Liam who's 17 now, who when he was 3 was diagnosed with autism. We didn't know really what autism was other than what everyone would know about it. And in 2000, when he was diagnosed, there really weren't a lot of resources available. So subsequently, we learned a lot about it. My wife went on the board of Autism Speaks and was on the board of Autism Speaks for 6 or 7 years. And then our son ended up at a school called the Newmark School for special needs children in New Jersey. And so we then embarked on a campaign to build a new facility for them, which we completed in 2013. So it's a cause that's near and dear to us, as it is to BJ.
Wow, okay, great. Now, I want to ask you, and I want to say hi to Jack and Suzanne Wright, who were my champions when I first started out on the same journey as well, so I'm very familiar with them. My question has been today, there's a lot of interest and a lot of discussion, and people are very aware of autism, or much more aware than they were before. But there are still a lot of people who are not. So the Newmark School is something that you built. I often wonder what happens to those people who don't know about the resources and don't have access to a school like Newmark. Has anybody had any discussion on that yet?
Yeah, it's hard because, as BJ said in his opening remarks, if the statistics are accurate and it's 1 in 65 to 70 children now, then this is a tsunami that the country is going to have to deal with. What we liked about the project we did in New Jersey was we built the school for 200 children, so we made it as big as we could make it. But in New Jersey, it is all state funded, so it's accessible to, it's local school district and state funded. So even though it's a private school and is very expensive, it's not expensive to the parents because the parents don't pay the tuition. So we liked that it was accessible to everybody. It wasn't just a private school that only certain people could afford. But to the root of your question, what we found more than anything is parents don't understand what their rights are. They don't know where to look for the resources. They get a diagnosis like we got 14 years ago, and what we've tried to do is, through things like Autism Speaks, is raise awareness that says, hey, there's a lot more information out there. Get familiar with what is available. Get some help. One of the things my wife worked on when she was with Autism Speaks was the 100-day kit. Because that first 100 days after the diagnosis, when you're just, you don't know what to do, you don't know where to turn, that's really helpful. And our older daughter actually just finished law school and is working in the education practice of a law firm up in New Jersey, focusing on families who are dealing with these kinds of issues to help them manage their way through sometimes, dealing with boards of education or, other kind of services that they need to avail themselves of. So I think it's not dissipating in need, but there is a lot more information out there that's available to parents than there was even 5 or 10 years ago.
All right, so thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right, guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Fixing up your deck may be easier than you think. Construction expert Joe Sains says you need a versatile tool to get the job done right. With as many cutting blades, the Bosch Multi-X is well suited for the job. With a wood cutting blade, remove a board section between the joists to allow access. Change to a metal cutting blade to cut the nail or screw fastener. Measure the opening, cut a new piece of treated lumber, and attach with a galvanized fastener. For more tips, visit BeThePro.com.
We're back with more of our special segment on autism, and we're here today with Pathfinders for Autism, and this is their Leadership Success Journey event. We're in Towson, Maryland, and I have have the pleasure, and this is really an honor to me, to introduce you to our next guest, who is one of the speakers today. Her name is Jessica Long. Hi, Jessica.
Hello, thanks for having me.
My gosh, I am just so inspired by your story. First, I just want to talk a little bit about who you are and some of the hurdles that you've overcome. So, I know that you were in a Russian orphanage, and I know that you were born with a disability. So, tell us what's inspired you to move forward in terms of leadership and success.
I was born with, okay. I was adopted when I was 13 months old from a Russian orphanage, and I was born with fibular hemimelia, which basically means I was born without the ankles or the heels or most of the bones in your lower legs. But for me and my determined spirit, I've never wanted to be held back because of a so-called disability. And for me, my entire life, I have worked just a little bit harder to overcome the obstacles of not having both of my legs. And I found swimming, which led to Paralympics, and I am a Paralympic athlete, and I've competed in 3 Paralympic games, and I have a total of 12 Paralympic gold medals, and right now I'm...
She only has 12. Go ahead.
But right now, I'm honestly just enjoying my time, and I love swimming. At the end of the day, what it comes down to is I love swimming, and hopefully inspiring people along the way.
And so today we're here at PathFinders for Autism. Why did you become involved with this event today?
Well, PathFinders for Autism Foundation is just so amazing, and it's so near and dear to my heart. And I know the Surhoffs. I swim with their son, Austin, on the team. But, you know, it's a cause that is just, it's so great. I mean, how could you not want to be involved? And they had me come here to speak today and talk about my successes, and truly just been having such a fantastic time.
What is the inspiration that motivates you to move forward every day?
Yeah, well, honestly, every day it's a little different, but I have goals that I still want to reach, and that's what kind of pushes me through these really tough practices. And my teammates are there to pick me up when I fall, and my coach is always so encouraging. And right now, again, I'm just enjoying my time up until Rio 2016.
What would you say to, because you're, what, 15? We're not good. Right.
22.
Right. Very beautiful and young. And, you know, what do you say to youth who are not working with the disabilities and have to overcome the obstacles that you've had? What do you say to them to get them inspired to accomplish something great?
Honestly, I would say just a couple things. Is just you need to have a passion, because if you have a passion, you're going to go so far. And with that passion, if it's sports or school or just whatever, you also need to practice. And you don't become a champion overnight. It takes time and effort and patience, but you know, having goals is so important at a young age.
You are training for Brazil 2016. What's the outcome we want to see with you over there?
Well, right now I'm just trying to get through today's practice, but definitely I would love to bring home more gold medals for USA, but honestly I'm just going to go and have a great time and swim fast.
Okay, great. Any last words you want to share with people today who are here at the Leadership for Success journey, or just people that are watching the segment?
Yeah, you know, the only thing I would just leave you with is that the only disability in life is a negative attitude.
Wow, amazing. Thank you. Jessica Long, thank you. All right, guys, you heard it, Jessica Long. Stay tuned, and we'll be back with more of this event.
Brushing up on your knowledge of germs and viruses, particularly when it comes to your toothbrush, may mean fewer colds for you and your family. Often, a toothbrush can be just the kind of environment germs and bacteria like to call home. One way to correct this may be to use a toothbrush sanitizer that can neutralize bacteria already on your brush and protect it from collecting more. For example, the Steripod toothbrush sanitizer is designed to kill microbes by enclosing the toothbrush with antibacterial vapors. To learn more, visit getsteripod.com.
Hi, everybody, and we are back with more of our special segment on autism. We are at the PathFinders for Autism event, Success and Leadership Journey. And it is my pleasure and my honor to introduce you to Mr. Justin Constantine. Hi, Justin.
Hi there.
Oh, wow. You have had an amazing journey, an amazing story.
Comments, and I haven't done it all on my own. There's been a whole bunch of people behind me the whole way, and that's part of it too, is surrounding yourself with good people who can push you in the right direction and help you when you're going through a tough time. But, I feel like I've been given a second lease on life. I'm lucky to be here. I want to spend my time now helping others who are struggling. Autism is one of those issues, but any number of ways. And I want to give back to my community, and I find when I focus on that, and my wife and I focus on those, things turn out for the better.
Wow. So what are some of the tips that you use for other people who might need it, not even just in autism, but every
Sure.
day?
Oh, yeah. Everyday life has a lot of challenges, no matter what it is.
Right.
So no doubt. I remind myself of, a few things, and I talked about them today. For instance, you're stronger than you think you are, and that teamwork is critical for success, and it's okay to ask for help. A lot of us walk around feeling closed off, and we can't reach out to others if we need something. But just like I like helping other people like helping me when I just have to ask for it, and it's okay.
So what brings you to PathFinders for Autism today? Now, I know that you want to give back, but why specifically this particular conference?
Well, frankly, a personal connection is the folks who are running the whole production media star, friends of mine. They've helped me in my career as well. So we talked about it, and I thought, this is great. My wife's a teacher. Some of her students have autism. I love those kids. They're precious. They're great. And so it was just a good fit for me personally. A little bit different than a group I would normally talk to. Usually I talk about developing leadership or other things, but actually it turns out we have a lot in common.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we do. And that's why I was just really amazed to hear your story. And really, when we listen to your story, you do realize just how similar leadership and development is just across the board. So I just want to say thank you. Your story was so inspiring, and it was my pleasure and honor to meet you. Anything else you'd like to say to everybody?
I'll just wrap up on, when it comes to leadership, we're lucky. It's something that can be learned. You're not born necessarily with leadership. So you find a good course that you like, you go to a seminar, maybe at work or in your private life. You want to be a leader in your community? Go for it. Anyone can do it.
Wow, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Okay, guys. Amazing. And you'll hear more about that from our event, Pathfinders for Autism Success for Leadership Journey. Stay tuned, we'll be back.
Brushing up on your knowledge of germs and viruses, particularly when it comes to your toothbrush, may mean fewer colds for you and your family. Often, a toothbrush can be just the kind of environment germs and bacteria like to call home. One way to correct this may be to use a toothbrush sanitizer that can neutralize bacteria already on your brush and protect it from collecting more. For example, the Steripod toothbrush sanitizer is designed to kill microbes by enclosing the toothbrush with antibacterial vapors. To learn more, visit getsteripod.com.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back, and thank you for coming back with us on our special segment, which is the successful journey in leadership. We're here today with Pathfinders for Autism, and I want to introduce you to the executive director. Her name is Rebecca Rienzi. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
So tell me a little bit about your job and about your organization.
Sure. Well, as executive director, I oversee all the program and administrative operations of Pathfinders for Autism. And Pathfinders for Autism is a Maryland-based organization. We operate statewide, and our programs include a resource center, so we help families primarily to connect with resources in their community to help them with any provider or service they might need for their child or adult with autism spectrum disorder.
Okay. Now, would you just tell me a little bit about how this event came together? Because it looks like it's going to be a great event. So let's talk about that.
We were actually blessed that a gentleman by the name of Bill Spots with Heritage Financial Consultants had this idea for several years. This was a dream he had as an event that he wanted to put on. He knew that when he did it, he wanted all the proceeds to go to an organization that he thought was worthwhile. He became familiar with our organization through a couple connections with our staff and decided that we were it. it. He wanted the proceeds to go to us, for which we were very excited and blessed to be selected. And really, it was a committee of fantastic people that Bill put together that brought us to this day.
And you know what I find that's interesting so far since I've been here, because we're in the beginning of the day. We'll see what I sound like by the end of the day. There's a lot of men that came to the table with this project. Usually there's a lot of women that, kind of spearhead things. So this is kind of something that men really wrap their resources and time and brains around. And I don't know why that is. Do you have any ideas on that?
I don't know. They're very inspirational. I think Bill is a hard guy to say no to. But you're right. Our committees often tend to be led by ladies, but we have been blessed. We have some very strong leadership on our board, within our organization, and Bill, being a very strong and connected donor to our organization, just had some great connections, and they all stepped up to the table.
Yeah.
So we did have some fabulous ladies on the committee as well, too.
Yes, you did. You did. Yeah, you did. Now, would you just tell me a little bit about what PathFinders for Autism, what kind of resources do you offer there?
Sure. We primarily are able to connect folks with information about whether they might be looking for a specialist. Either maybe it's a speech therapist or a behavioral therapist, or some type of holistic intervention. Any type of therapy that they might be looking to utilize for their child. This kind of information is not always readily available. You would think if you go to your pediatrician, they would be able to link you. That doesn't always happen, and so we are able to try to help families find the right services for their child, give them information about special education process, what their rights are under the IDEA, which is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act.
Okay, wait a minute. So would you say that just one more time?
Sure, the IDEA, which governs special education for children in the schools. And so we will help make sure families understand their rights under that law, what services their children are entitled to. We are a lifespan organization, so we do try to help families that have children, or we work directly with the individual if they are contact us as well to help find services for adults. So those types of services could be vocational training, they could be housing, they could be day services. Unfortunately, as in most states, Maryland is when it comes to adult services, we are struggling tremendously, but we do help families find what they can access through state services.
Yeah, and Rebecca and I had a little bit of a conversation off camera about that. It's great that organizations want to do so much for youth and for children. That is really great. But what happens to you when you're an adult? And what happens to resources for the adults? Because you don't just stop having autism or Asperger's or asthma. When you turn 21, it's like, oh, okay, it's all over. So, that's nice that you guys are doing that. And really, maybe you could even, or your organization would take a path of leadership. We are at the leadership conference. And maybe kind of put some feelers out there and try to develop, more programs that are good for adults. So
we are always looking to help start the conversation around issues. We've actually had former board members who've left us to start adult service provider agencies, recognizing that need in the community, always trying to get the right people to the table to discuss the problems. Housing is a huge issue, but there's so many things that families need to think about. And you're so right, entitlements through age 21. Yeah. That all ends when the child turns 21, but the diagnosis does not. And so we need to find ways to find meaningful ways for adults on the spectrum and with any developmental disability to spend their days.
I have to tell you, Rebecca, thank you so much for your time. Rebecca is like a ball of energy. I have just seen her. She's just been moving from one end, and this is really, looks like it's going to be a great event. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you to PathFinders for Autism. So
thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you. We'll be back with more from the Success Leadership Journey, PathFinders for Autism's event. All right, we'll be right back.
Brushing up on your knowledge of germs and viruses, particularly when it comes to your toothbrush, may mean fewer colds for you and your family. Often a toothbrush can be just the kind of environment germs and bacteria like to call home. One way to correct this may be to use a toothbrush sanitizer that can neutralize bacteria already on your brush and protect it from collecting more. For example, the Steripod toothbrush sanitizer is designed to kill microbes by enclosing the toothbrush with antibacterial vapors. To learn more, visit getsteripod.com.
Hi, everybody, and we are back with more of our special segment. We are at the PathFinders for Autism. They are doing their event today is the Leadership Success Journey. And I have the honor and pleasure of standing here with the NBA Commissioner. His name is Adam Silver. So hi, Mr. Silver, how are you today?
I'm fine. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. So tell me what brings you out to this event today.
I'm here because one of my oldest friends is BJ Surhoff, and he and his wife Polly began this foundation, PathFinders for Autism, because of their son Mason. And it's something, his experience he's been sharing with me since Mason was a young boy. And all these years I've told him I want to be helpful any way I can. And he asked me if I could come down today and be part of this program. So that's why I'm here.
Wow. And I have to tell you, I think a lot of people are really happy to see you here in the building today. Now, I wanted to just ask you, Mark Cuban joked that, I'm glad to see Adam Silver as a new commissioner, but a lot of people know that you are a very strong leader. And so you tell me what some of your key traits are. Would you just tell us a little bit about what makes you such a strong leader?
Well, I'll let others decide if I'm a strong leader,
Yeah.
but I'd say some of my key traits are to be collaborative. I mean, we have terrific owners like Mark Cuban, who I seek advice from, and terrific business partners of the league, companies like Disney and Time Warner, who I can call on when I need help in making critical decisions. And I'm including an owner like Ted Leonsis here in Washington, D.C. area. We have these terrific business leaders in their own right. And so when there are important decisions for the league, I've learned that to get as much information as I can from as many people as I can, and then ultimately I have to make decisions. But I find going out there, doing the research, really doing my due diligence is what enables me to be a good leader.
And so I just want to say thank you again, and I see that you're putting your time and your leadership skills also behind autism and this cause, and we just all want to say thank you so much. And to PathFinders for Autism, thank you so much, Mr. Silver. Thank you, my pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Fixing up your deck may be easier than you think. Construction expert Joe Saines says you need a versatile tool to get the job done right. With as many cutting blades, the Bosch Multi-X is well suited for the job. With a wood cutting blade, remove a board section between the joists to allow access. Change to a metal cutting blade to cut the nail or screw fastener. Measure the opening, cut a new piece of treated lumber, and attach with a galvanized fastener. For more tips, visit BeThePro.com.
Hi, and welcome back to this special segment with PathFinders for Autism. We are at their Leadership Success Journey at Towson University. I'm Janice McLean DeLoatch, and here with me we have BJ Surhoff, who is the president for PathFinders for. He's the president of the board for PathFinders for Autism. So hi, BJ, how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you.
Okay. And so we are here today to talk a little bit about the conference. Would you tell me how you became involved with PathFinders for Autism, and then just what you would like to see for your vision for the future of this organization?
The more. We wanted other parents, other people who cared for their kids or grandkids or relatives, anyone they knew, that there was other people out there going through what they were going through. And we wanted to know they weren't alone.
Okay. And so how did this leadership conference or Success in Leadership conference come about?
Well, a gentleman and his wife, who were friends of the organization, decided they wanted to try and do something to help us, to help clients, our people around the state. And he brought this idea to us 13, 14 months ago, and it's been a work in progress since. Fortunately, we've had access and gotten agreements from some very, very good speakers and well-known people who are willing to come and help us have a great day and raise some money for the organization.
Mm-hmm. And initially, I actually did an interview with Bob and Suzanne Wright,
Yes.
And we had a really extensive conversation, and they were talking about their wish list. I can imagine that they have accomplished some of that, and it has continued to grow. What would be your wish list for Maryland, PathFinders for Autism in Maryland?
Well, we operate only in the state of Maryland, and obviously, like anybody else, money is key. It allows us to do what we want to do, what we need to do, what there is a need for around the state. We're trying to broaden the horizons, and we are literally trying to reach from one end of the state to the other, every county, every city, and to get into the community, to help people get the information they need to help their children, their relative, the person they know, a caregiver, whoever it is, to enable them to get the services or whatever it is they need to help that individual.
Okay. And would you just talk a little bit briefly about some of the services that Pathfinders for Autism does cover?
Sure. We're not a direct service provider, but what we do is we run programs. We train emergency personnel. We've trained state police candidates. We've trained the Capitol Police. All about awareness and having dealing with people with disabilities. We have family fun nights where we rent out a facility and we invite people to come at no cost to have a low-key night out with their child or individual with other people in the same boat. Again, no cost, and those have been very, very well received. We've had the aquarium, minor league baseball games, rock climbing, so we have various things to get people out and to do things. And we have many other trainings that we do around the state, and you can go to our website, Pathfinders for Autism, to get a complete rundown of what we do.
Okay. And now your wife, and lastly, your wife is very involved. I want to say hi, Polly, and thank you for the work that you do as well, Polly Surhoff. Tell us how your family, your son, has progressed with the resources from Pathfinders for Autism.
Well, like anyone else, our son was just over two when we got diagnosed, and really we weren't living here yet, and we were just hoping he would speak. We moved here in 1996. He was turning 4, and we found people and services here that enabled him to move along. He has since graduated from high school and is now in a public-private work mentoring type program. So he's making progress towards real working environment. But like any parent or any child, there's difficulties, and just some more challenging than others. So it is a work in progress. There's not a cure. And some days are better.
Not yet.
Not yet. And there are, well, we have to be able to figure out what's wrong, what causes it first.
Right.
But it's not going away. It's a daily grind. And some days are better than others. And we will continue to work at it and try and help him and us have a more enjoyable life.
Wow. Thank you, BJ Surhoff, for the work that you do, and for Pathfinders for Autism, thank you for the work that you guys do. We will be right back. I thank you for your time.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay. All right, guys, we'll be right back. I just have to say, I really was so inspired myself here today. I learned about so many wonderful resources and so many awesome people. Starting with BJ Surhoff and his wife Polly and all the people over at the media promo company. I mean, you guys just really did an awesome job bringing together great promotions and great people. I'm really inspired by this. You're doing great work, and I really hope to see it continue. And certainly I want to figure out how I too can do my part to contribute to seeing this move forward. So thank you so much. Thanks.